Do I have a second?
Second, sorry.
Next item on the agenda, 6.1, case 5512, request for lien elimination, Zahid Roy.
We're still at 5.1.
What-
You got a first and a second, please.
Yeah, you gotta close it out.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Sorry about that. Just trying to move right along. This gentleman's been patient.
And if I could say something before this gentleman speaks, I got here about a half an hour early because I didn't know how long it was going to take me to get here with my incapacities and all that, and he was sitting here even before I came. I apologize it's taken so long, sir. I hope you've enjoyed the afternoon.
Okay, Zahid Roy.
Okay?
Okay, I'm the owner of the 700 Minnesota Drive, which is my house, homesteaded property.
Okay. Where's those letters?
It's an old violation from August 2012. There was vandalism took place, which destroyed all the windows. November 2012, I was in front of the Code Enforcement Board. There was at that time, Inspector Peggy Franco's. And there was one wall which was boarded up where the JLC window was, and she was happy with that at that time. And she said to replace the rest of the glass in the window, which is I comply with. August 2013, the window was broken again. I have a police report for that. She made a phone call, and she said, give me a favor. I don't want to open up a new violation. Just go ahead and replace the window and make sure you make a police report so that nobody go back to say that the existing violation was never fixed. After that, I replaced that window again. I didn't hear anything up until I received a lien notice in the mail. At that time, I called, spoke to Mr. Tunis, and asked with him, had a meeting with him on June 6th, came out the property. He saw I was working and maintaining a property, doing whatever need little here and there maintenance to be done. And he said, I need to go in front of the Code Enforcement to get the lien address. Then I got additional lien on June 30th of this year, and lien from $32,000 to $700 to increase to $52,800. Didn't get any notice to come in front of the code and discuss that matter. Then I called Ms. Spring I need to address this matter present my hardship from the code since I have a disability, have no source of income, and also because of this house, my disability be denied by the Social Security Department. They're saying that because I own more than $2,000 equity in my property. It's amazing how system works today. So what I'm requesting to the code board, please eliminate this lien so I can borrow some money against the property because my whole equity be seized right now by the city of Clearwater. I cannot take any equity out, get any loan to comply. There is anything to make happy city with.
Okay.
That's my request.
Okay. City have a comment?
Sure. Property in compliance, yes or no?
No.
That's not in compliance.
And can you identify yourself for the record, please?
I'm Diane Duvall, City of Clearwater Code.
There's a mic here, so it'll pick up what you're saying.
I would appreciate if she comes out and go back to 2012 violation pictures so you guys could have all the images, what exactly took place. Okay, and where the board exactly, what board that was they're complaining about, which was okay with the Peggy Franco in last year, 2 years ago and last year. So anything was left in August, I received a phone call from her over the phone. She said, while you're replacing that new window, which is broken, I have a police report right here. Give me a favor, just paint that board to match the color. That's all she asked me. I said, I'm going to do stucco on it. And she said, okay.
Okay, we need to let the city.
Few issues. Is the property in compliance, yes or no?
No,
Inspector?
No, it is not.
What still needs to be done in order to achieve compliance?
The windows are still boarded. They need to be either repaired or replaced and the boards removed.
And that is consistent with the Clearwater Development Code sections that were provided to the board back in 2012 when this case was first heard?
Yes,
Do you have pictures of what the house looks like now?
I do.
Show to the board. Would the board like to see pictures of that house
Yes.
as it looks like now?
Yeah, I'd like to see.
Can we pass it around?
Elmo would probably work.
Elmo?
Yes, not the fuzzy guy, but the little white electronic device there.
All right, let me take this apart.
And if you could, just kind of go through and talk briefly about what's not in compliance, so that way the board is aware, and maybe also for Mr. Roy's edification, so he's aware of what needs to be done before he needs to request a reduction or an elimination of the fine.
Inspector Peggy Franco was the original inspector on this case. We do have pictures from her previous PowerPoint presentation, but the side of the structure entirely, down the entire side, all of the windows were broken.
There we go.
Oh, I thought you did too.
Okay, start talking about the photos.
Okay. This is the front of the house, picture from the front. This is the side. This whole, all of the windows down the side of the property were broken.
There we go.
Thank you.
Okay. So this looks like a photo from
That's the
August
side.
25th, 2014.
Yes, just a couple
And
days
explain
ago.
why this is not in compliance, Inspector.
This has all just been boarded up. Underneath all those boards are broken windows.
And this is not a fix again?
No, they need to be either replaced or repaired and the boards removed.
And nowhere in the code, back whether it's today or back in 2012, has boarding up windows been a solution to broken windows, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And then there's just a couple of other, if it maintains the same focus here. More windows further down on that same side.
I'll help you. You're
Those are-
showing this one right here?
Yeah, those are boards from the inside.
Okay, and this is a photo from August 25th?
Yes, these are all just a couple days ago.
Okay, moving on to the next one?
Yes.
All right. I'll
And
help
this
you,
is
sir.
the back of
Concentrate.
the back of the house. That's all boarded up also. That was broken windows.
Okay, so none of this boarding is in compliance with the code?
Correct.
All right. So just for the board, just to remind the board, and then also for Mr. Roy as well, if a property is not in compliance, it's been the policy of this board to not entertain a reduction or even an elimination of the fines. If Mr. Roy takes the steps to bring the property into compliance and notifies the inspector, the property owner can then come to the board and ask for a reduction in the amount of the fine. Historically, the board has reduced the amounts of the fine down to administrative costs. Now, if Mr. Roy is having problems obtaining loans or anything of that nature, you know, I really don't know what to tell him. I can't provide him legal advice, but I can tell the board that historically we do not, the city does not support reduction of the fine below administrative costs.
Has anything been done since the 2012?
I can't speak prior to when I became a code inspector. I know that I came on board just this past March 2014. I was actually called out to this property in May for other reasons. There was some trash and debris and so on. Those issues were resolved, but that's when I became aware of all of these boards still on these windows. So
Okay.
it's,
Kind of a catch-22 with, don't have the money to fix it, but the lien can't be reduced until it comes in compliance. What's the total lien?
Ms. Sprague, can you provide the total amount of the lien?
It's 59,000.
Even?
59,600. But you're throwing out $100 a day.
Any questions, discussions?
You know, I was just noticing right here in this report, in November 28, 2012, it says the windows were boarded. So moving along, here we are in 2014, the windows are still boarded?
Yes.
Okay,
pictures were taken 2 days ago.
right. I understand the catch-22 too.
Okay, do you have something to say? Thank you.
Our original violation was a 2012. August 2012 was that just the property must be secure and window and door must be properly shut and sealed. If there's any board issue, the city must issue me second notice and second violation. Okay, you can't open up 2 years old violation and trying to get the other boards on it. I asked Mr. Tunis, close the original violation, which was satisfied with Peggy Franco, and write a new violation which will give me a time to comply with it. Why my property be held hostage by a city and my equity be seized by the city in violation is irrelevant to the original violation. Mr. Tunis told me the way is a board fixed. I'm not happy with now. I don't care what Peggy Franco says. She's no longer with the city. And it happened to be this lien take place as soon as I sent my paperwork into Tallahassee for the Senate race. This is a political-driven violation on my property. City lawyers and all are getting involved with a political process of this country. If you have any issue with the original code, does my windows are replaced? Does I replace all the glass? Did Peggy Franco said that she's happy with the board on that wall, and she's going to call? Doesn't want to open up a second violation. August 2013. Make sure call the cops, make a report so it don't fall back on you. So the city can't say that this is existing violation. Let me give you police reports.
I'm afraid that if I
Does the city have a comment?
can comment at the end if you need clarification. If not, let me know.
No, I remember this case real well, you know, and I remember him telling us he had problems.
You have to. Attorney.
So,
Well, you have an affidavit of non-compliance that you accepted on August 23rd, 2013. The original violation was, is evidence that the structure has broken and boarded windows. The affidavit of non-compliance has been in existence for a year.
And wouldn't the affidavit of noncompliance start with the code enforcement officer who would the city? Peggy.
Franco signed this.
So there's a
back in
contract
2012.
Well, the affidavit of non-compliance.
started in
Which
13.
is 2013, was signed by her, the affidavit. So you have an existing non-compliance for a year.
And what Mr. Roy has provided me looks like some, I guess, criminal mischief and broken window. It sounds like criminal complaints regarding that. But again, it still doesn't speak on the correction of the violation.
Well, I didn't get any notice from anybody that the way the board is, and she was never happy. Matter of fact, the board, I came in the same code board before in November 2012, and she put that picture up. She said, okay, he already sealed one side. I want him to replace the rest of the window. Okay, at that time, the guy was given a time to go ahead and replace the window glass, which is I did it. Number two, that porch was already put, there was a window there. The window frames are still in there. There's no structural integrity was ever been a compromise taking those frames out. Okay? It is a board. If you really look at the front of the window, you see when she shows you front of the house, there's already a board. It's a pre-existing closed porch. Okay? At this time, I'm requesting the board, with all my respect, the only way to comply with this is, since I have no source of income, and this is a homestead property, this is my primary house, that let me borrow some money from somebody to fix that. If I have to pull the permit, get engineering done, I have no problem with it. It's a lot cheaper for me to pay a $150 permit to protect my property rights and my homestead property rights than actually losing everything which this country stands for, which is the private property rights. And I don't know how many people you have studied the Constitution. I did, because that's what I took oath when I became a citizen of this country. That's make me proud to be American. And the property, private properties are crucial for the freedom of this country. You cannot seize private property. That's the Fourth Amendment right violated right there, illegally seizing my asset. So I strongly recommend to all you people, protect this nation by protecting private property rights. Because what the right you have is an unsustainable exercise that you're doing. This country become unsustainable. It cannot go further. We would collapse within, as we are. Please, grant me this lien, this lien be taken off. Grant my request so I can pursue the happiness and protect my private property rights.
You know, if we granted you that, how long would it take you to comply?
It would take me a couple months, I would go ahead and pull the permit, as the plan done, and I will inspector come out, take a look at it, I'll put, if you want me to put the window back in there, glass, and take the board down, I do that, because the frame is still in there. And there's no law say that code enforcement, I cannot just replace the glasses in the window frame. So please, give me a time, take the lien off, let me borrow money, let me fix my house. This is my house.
What was my answer? How much time?
Give me about 5 months, I will comply. If I don't comply within 5 months, I don't fix it,
That's
For the
5
board's
months is
edification as well, at this moment, just wanted to bring back, and I know this is the old case, but let's see if we can get Elmo. Elmo, there we go. We have, this is the presentation from back in 2012, and as the board will probably be able to see here, the same boarding issue.
Yep.
So nothing's really changed. Just to clarify what Mr. Roy had mentioned. It's the same issue, it just hasn't been modified, so.
And I got, Mr. Salzman, the violation was,
The property be secure.
what was the time period between when he was found in violation here and then to 2013 when the affidavit of noncompliance? How many months was there? I want to say it was like 4 or 5 months.
It was brought
sounds
to
right.
the code board in November of 2012. September of 2013, the board accepted the affidavit of noncompliance.
So it was more than,
And the fine then started the, comply by date, I believe, was in January.
January 7th, 2013.
So the fine started January 7th, 2013, and is still occurring.
Now,
so there's
look,
a couple months in there.
yeah.
Yeah, November
Yeah, oh,
28th
yes.
to January 7th
Okay,
was the original time period.
all right, so about a month and a half.
So what we have is, and I certainly appreciate Mr. Roy coming in, but just to bring everything kind of full circle, we're getting a lot of information thrown here, and it's my job to make sure that the city's position is as clearly stated as possible. We have a violation that was brought before the board back in 2012. Mr. Roy was explained what he needed to do to bring the property into compliance. The board provided an order giving him a date certain to bring the property into compliance. For whatever reason, Mr. Roy's had some difficulties bringing the property into compliance. A lien, fine started to accrue, and now a lien is attached to the property. Bringing it back full circle, if Mr. Roy wants to have this lien reduced to administrative costs, he will have to bring the property into compliance. Plywood, as a method of securing these broken windows, will not satisfy the code. That's it.
Thank you for explaining that, okay? See, the plywood you say was not matter of securing the property, but that did not came out the last time I was in front of the board with the Peggy Franco. In a matter of fact, last August 2013, when a phone call received, which you look at the second floor, window was broken again, she said, please paint that board, okay, and it would be nice, okay, so I'm going to stick with that. And that's exactly what I told Mr. Kunis when he came on June 6th. The question really is, that was accepted, that board, in 2013, November 2012 when I was here. If there was any issue with the board, where is the notice? Why nobody gave me a notice? Why didn't I get the notice to come in front of the court for the hearing when I became non-compliant? Where is the notice for 2 days hearing? I have to call and ask you, did you set up the hearing for it? And you said, yes, it's at 1 o'clock today.
Yes.
I was here exactly 12:55 in this office. Okay, but I still didn't get your notice. So there's some mail issue going on. I'm not saying there's a city issue, it could be some mailman issue.
If you allow me to respond, I did send a letter. It does not have to be certified.
Okay.
So it's in first-class mail.
Okay.
But you did call me, so you were aware of today's hearing.
Yeah, and I'm here. I wasn't aware for any other hearing
And again-
prior to
Could
that.
I address?
Well, it seems like it's
The prior notice was sent out, it was sent out certified mail, it was unclaimed.
and then we post the property as we're always supposed to, statutorily required to do. Mr. Roy was present in 2012 for this hearing. I recall Mr. Roy being here. We discussed it. The violation was found. As we saw, the photo is the same condition of the plywood on the window. There was no consent to plywood as a method of securing the property, and I certainly, feel for Mr. Roy and being in the neighborhood that he is and having to deal with the criminal issues, but fact of the matter remains, windows need to be put up, plywood does not work, The board agreed with that in 2012. The property is still in the same condition. It does not provide standing for a reduction of the fine.
What's,
My violations are securing the property. Door and the window must be properly shut and locked. That is the notice was everybody looking at in plain English. That's what exactly I did. The board was okay with the Peggy Franco. Now the board is not okay 2 years later because I asked to run for Senate race, okay? My meeting with Mr. Tunis was right before I was going to send my qualifying fee in. And Mr. Tunis said, Mr. Roy, you know very well how to take care of this issue. I don't know what those issues are. Okay? I'm here for the code. I'm asking to please consider to reduce this, eliminate this lien so I can fix it. Now I know what's wrong with the property. Just seizing my asset is not a solution because I have no means to know to fix it because I have no money for it.
question, what's the administrative cost on this?
$59,600.
No, that's the lien.
We did not prepare administrative.
We don't know what the, well, how would you come up with the administrative cost?
Whenever there's a property that we know that's in compliance, both departments will get together and calculate administrative costs. But in this instance, the property is not in compliance. It's not eligible for a fine reduction pursuant to the policy.
Isn't it our position our position is to entertain his request or deny it?
That is exactly
That's our job.
correct. And
I
so
make a motion, I make a motion we deny.
Can I just ask one more question, Mr. Soto? Are we within the power to reduce his reduction and give him a set time?
your,
Your question actually,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's how you know because he's the city.
I will just say that there's a policy in
But
place.
is that a valid question?
The policy has always been, and you adopted a specific policy to deal with this situation, was to wait until someone came in compliance. Now, have you made exceptions to that? Yes. Normally, when the property is being purchased by someone else, the new owners, you've allowed them to come in and do that. But not normally with an existing property owner that is not in compliance. And then that's where you also came up with the idea not to reduce it below the administrative cost. So that's the policy of the board.
Okay.
But we can do.
I do have one other question. How much is it going to cost to bring this into compliance?
Pardon?
How many dollars will it take to come into compliance?
How much would it cost me?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't taken any estimate, okay, after they do with the plumbing and the
Other than
engineering.
that, then,
Yeah, see, that's what bugs me the most. I mean, what have you done? You knew this day was coming.
Yeah, but if you're gonna reduce
like
only a
your
couple
fault.
$1,000 from equity, the house only worth is a $25,000.
I want to help you, but you got to show us something. You can't just come in here and talk
What, the
real
lien
loud
has,
and-
the only way to fix the lien has to be eliminated. If the lien is not eliminated, I have to surrender the title of the city, take off the tax roll. That's the only I can do, because if I take out the tax roll, I can go get my disability, which is a retroactive pay, go back 4 years back since my disability. Okay? So obviously, this is not a solution we're gonna find any solution unless somebody really look into the private property right? This is a homestead property.
okay. We have
I
a
appreciate your
motion,
time.
we have a motion in front of the board. Would you like to say it again, or?
Well, you got to close it you got to close it.
All right, public portion is closed. Before I do that, anybody else in the audience have anything to say? The public portion is closed. I need a motion to accept or deny.
I'll make a motion to deny his request for a lien reduction. And I also want to say, there's no way in the world I believe you when you say Ms. Franco told you you could put a board up and paint over it. And she's not here to deny that, but the minute you're telling me a member of our code enforcement board told you you could leave a board up or put a board up, you lost me. And you had plenty of time. I'm sorry for your problems. I would recommend you fix the home and find some other resource to fix the home, get the glass up and get it in compliance, and come back in front of the board and ask for a fine reduction to administrative costs. But my motion is not to entertain a lien reduction.
Has to be in compliance before we can reduce it.
It doesn't have to be, but it's our decision. And I recommend, my motion is we do not do a fine
Okay.
reduction.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's denied.
I move